So I'm reading earnings the other day, and I noticed that Robinhood lays off an additional 23% of their workforce after laying off 9% of their workforce earlier in April. Then I read another article right now that Walmart, the biggest big box retailer, is also laying off employees. And it's not only for these companies, Google laying off, Amazon laying off, Microsoft laying off, Tesla laying off, Uber laying off, right? Like all of these huge corporations are laying off employees. Well, the one company that I can think of that is not laying off employees and that's actually increasing its workforce, both on smaller levels, but also at the highest levels to open up the door to get them contracts, is no other than mother effing Palantir, ticker symbol PLTR. And no, we are not a meme stock, but we have that meme-like cult following. We actually do things. I'm sorry for all the haters. I'm sorry. A meme stock is not used as the backbone of the United States defense by multiple branches of the United States military and sub-branches within those branches of the United States military. And one way that Palantir does this is they actually hire more employees and they compensate them really good. The other day I was talking to one of my boys and he's like, Adam, what about the stock-based compensation from Palantir? So I explained it to him where it all came from and why it was very, very necessary to become one of the cool kids on the block, to make people come to Palantir, to make Palantir more inviting, but slowly and surely, and you could see it right now, their stock-based compensation is going down, baby, right? Which means they're getting closer and closer to GAAP profitability. Last earnings, they were just at negative 9%. And I believe that before that, negative 14%, before that, like negative 20 something, before that, negative 33. So they are getting closer to profitability. One of the ways you do that is to land big contracts. Now, Palantir has 3 different divisions, essentially. Commercial and then government. But Adam, where's the 3? So government can be broken down into 2 sections. Government for military and government for non-military. Okay, so now it's 3 sections. And each of those 3 sections can be broken down into 2 more subsections, domestic and abroad. So technically, Palantir works in 6 different segments. In order to get contracts, remember, the average contract for Palantir is just a smidge under 6 million, like 5.9 million. I believe Snowflake was number 2 with like 2 point something million. It's expensive to use Palantir and it's not easy to get somebody to use Palantir. You got to do a lot of schmoozing and you got to do a lot of ass kissing. But once you use Palantir, you don't go back. You could see it right now with the Army. They just increased Army Research Laboratory, right? They just increased their contract with Palantir. 2 years, $99.9 million. That's not a small chunk of change. That is a huge freaking contract. And in order to get these contracts, you need to schmooze. But in order to keep the contracts, you don't really got to do much. All you got to do is show performance. And pound for pound, Palantir is like Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali in their prime times 100. No disrespect. I love Mr. Muhammad and I love Mr. Mike Tyson. Guys, Palantir is a beast. And where is this leading up to? As other companies are firing and laying off, Palantir is hiring. They just did another new hire. Before we go to the new hire, I just wanted to recap everyone's memory because half of the people here are brand new people. Half of you have been with the channel for quite a while. We are pleased to announce that Manak Sharma has joined Palantir as head of supply chain and digital solutions. So I did a full video on this before. I just want to reiterate your memory. And he said, from today's uncertainty will emerge the leaders of tomorrow. To win, companies must evolve to be powered by technology and define new operational benchmarks of performance. Wow, really, really cool. Well, today I'm reading an article that Palantir hired another consultant. Now, this is going to be for the military side. Check this out. This is from the Fed Scoop. Ex-DOD, ex-Department of Defense Chief Data Officer David Spurk joins Palantir. Now you guys might say, hey, Adam, why does the DoD sound so familiar when you're talking about Palantir? Well, in the last earnings call, Palantir has huge ambitions to become the 6th prime for the DoD. But what kind of prime? A software prime. They would be the first software prime. So instead of hardware like missiles, tanks, helicopters, Apaches, all that stuff, they would actually be the software prime. And what does that exactly mean? That doesn't mean you're going to get every single contract from the US government, the military US government. It means that you are on board to be the front line. You're on board for people to pick up the phone and call you first, like, hey, you got dibs on this contract. And a lion's share of the money coming in from the military will go to you. Now, if Palantir can achieve the first software prime, well, I'll see you guys later, man. I'm going to go buy me an island. And it's very important that they hired the chief data officer at the Department of Defense, David Spirk, will join Palantir as a senior consultant. Wow. Spirk, who left the Pentagon in March, will now advise Palantir and focus on helping its leadership grow the company's government and international business. Will help leadership grow the company's government business. They had to throw in that international business, but it's the government that really counts. So he's the data officer, right? He's the chief data officer of the Department of Defense. He was like in charge of data for the Department of Defense. Now, Palantir knows a thing or two about data. What an interesting hire that they're doing. And this is not the first case that they're hiring people at these X positions in high levels of the government to open up doors. Guys, it's all about opening up the doors. Palantir currently has contracts with the Army to build out the intelligence data fabric as part of the distributed common ground system and is competing to be the main contractor for services next generation ground system, aka Titan, the Tactical Intelligence Targeting Access Node. Now they're competing against who? Raytheon. And they smoked Raytheon in the past for the Navy contract. Now, the chief admiral, I forgot his exact title, but the person in charge of funding, the person that was in charge of giving the contract said, only Palantir can fix this crazy pipelining and redundancy that we have over in the Navy. He literally said that. I'm paraphrasing, but he said that. Palantir is the only company that can do that. In his role at the DoD, serving at its first chief data officer, he led the Pentagon's data management efforts, including the creation of a new data strategy and implementation of data decrees from top leadership. Now, I quote, there are other near-peer competitors who are paying attention right now and understand these technologies. If we don't pick up our pace and continue prioritizing moving forward, that open data standard architecture that those data decrees describe, then we will fall off pace, he said. Guys, these are not the only two recent hires. I do cover more on my channel. I wanted to remind you that this coming Monday, me, Arnaldo, and Emmanuel will be covering the Palantir earnings live. Please join us on Monday morning. I think I'm going to start it at 7 a.m. and they're going to join me around 7:30 a.m. This is from Palantir's website. Palantir Technologies, software development, Denver, Colorado, 213,000 followers. These are just recently posted jobs. Information security engineer internship, communication designs static, deployment strategist, communications designer motion, compliance operations assistant, facility security officer, recruiting coordinator. And the list goes on and on and on. Palantir literally is hiring people while other people are firing people. Palantir is literally growing while other people's are not growing. Palantir understands the need and always did understand the need for a most powerful team, because without a team, you have no footing and foundations to build your company on. Because the contracts of Palantir are so robust, so expensive, and so enterprise driven, you can't just say, hey, tuck, 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 tuck. I want you guys to use my product. You can't do that. You need to get into the door and you need to, hey, rub shoulders with the right people. And Palantir most certainly is hiring the people that can rub shoulders with the right people, because the people that recently left, and that's why I showed you, he was in the Pentagon up until March, guys. He's still fresh from the government, only 6 months. It's a win-win. And I don't know if you guys have been following Palantir for a long time, but they literally have a federal advisory board. And all those people are like the most powerful 100 people in the United States government. I covered this before in my videos. Maybe I'll do a new video on this. Guys, thank you so much. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I do have a Patreon if you guys want to talk about investing. We have a private Telegram group. We do have bi-weekly lives. I have a link to it down below. And I share my own public portfolio. We're just trying to grow that group again. I'm not trying to shill it, but we do bounce ideas off of each other, and we are trying to grow as the wolf pack. Thank you so much. Have a great day.